Hello, welcome back to the Doomlink's Live Hunt series. We are in Generations Ultimate once again, and quite frankly I needed a little bit of a break from Freedom Unite. I don't know if you guys can really appreciate this or recognize it while watching, but recording Freedom Unite is a little bit stressful. There's something about the downtime of 3 Ultimate that's a lot easier to deal with than the downtime of Freedom Unite. Because at least when there's downtime in 3 Ultimate, I feel as if I just need to wait and there will be a hunt at some point, whereas in Freedom Unite, when there is downtime, I feel like there may be nothing on the horizon and I'm just sitting around while live doing nothing for no eventual result, which is off-putting when you're live. Like, from my perspective, it's off-putting. It probably doesn't mean anything to you, but I suppose what I'm trying to say is that Freedom Unite can be stressful. If I've got a consistent group, it works like a dream. But if I don't, and that is pretty much every time I record it, it can be frustrating. So, and also having to negotiate the community and other people who want to join, or perhaps say they are going to join and then don't, which causes confusion, that is just annoying to deal with. So, without launching into a rant on that subject, I'm going to close it out by saying it's actually for once nice to be here in Generations Ultimate. I'm not going to prostrate myself before you all and beg for forgiveness for not recording frequently. I've already said, time and time again, quite appropriately, but I'm going to stop doing it, that I will endeavour to record as frequently as I can. I'm not going to say it anymore because I'm probably going to end up saying it in every video that I record, and needless to say that's going to get very old very quickly. It has already become old in my mind, so let's stop saying it. You'll get a recording when you get one, and I'll try to do better than, say, 1 per week, okay? As long as we're in agreement on that point, I think all will be well. That's refreshing. A glass of port. Takes me back to the beginning of my live streaming, quite frankly. A nostalgic flavour at this stage. I don't have port too much anymore. Not for any particular reason. I just have other things that I would rather drink these days, but a bit of port here and there, a spot of port here and there, is entirely agreeable. I'm not doing Silver Hyperathalos, it's simply not happening. I will see what Yuki is doing. Again, here I am, drawing red lines, while there's basically no one to fucking play with. But that's the Doomlink special, it's the lack of tolerance for things that are truly boring, and that is hyper metal wraths. I'm sick of them. Truly sick of them. Do I need to? Yes, I had a feeling that I needed to combine for some mega potions. By the looks of it, I have some honey waiting to be reaped from the farmer. One can only fucking hope. Well, he's not really a farmer, he's a trading feline who gives me things from the farm, but that's alright. That seems like it's going to be enough honey. I don't think I'm going to complain about that. And I would imagine, much as I did last time, I can now trade for some more honey, because this is essentially how it works. I entirely forget about honey. And then by the time I realize that I don't have any left, I will be able to find pretty much 3 full trading, I suppose, well, yields? That's a weird way to refer to it. I'm trying to think of a word. But anyway, like, trading will be done and I'll be able to get honey and it's not a problem. So, as long as I set up for that future scenario where I will have no honey and then I go to the trader and see that it's all there, we'll be fine. Combine mega potions. It's important. Enjoy the sound. Unpleasant as it is, it will not last forever. Hello, Wrath. That'll probably do it for Mega Potions, for the moment. I don't know what Yuki is doing. This person has not yet said a word. I don't know if they've moved. I haven't been keeping track. Fortunately, I've got things that I need to do anyway, so it's not a big deal. But the time will come soon for me to, as a matter of necessity, evaluate whether or not I want to hang around in this room. Because there's no point sitting around with a room host that simply isn't here. Because that just causes issues later on down the line when you get more people joining and then the host is still AFK and then they start leaving. It's a waste of time, so it's better to cut your losses. Oh, that's a good time to cut my losses. A Prowler. Alright. Let's see what else is around. My options have not changed whatsoever. EX, Solcia, Mizutsune. Why? Well, I suppose he needs it, but still, why? I don't think I've ever had such displeasing options. So I've got someone who's AFK, someone who wants to do Hyper Silver Rathalos, and someone who wants to do EX Solcia, and the two options that do not have an AFK host are alone in their respective rooms. That's really bad. I'm serious when I say that I haven't seen worse options in recent months. Okay, well, Deviant Turns really is looking more attractive than those other options, as unpleasant as that is to the eye. We have reached that point. Not sure what you mean. I have Hayabusa Feather, and have had it for a very long time. So, yeah. No farming is required. In fact, I'm using it now. As a matter of fact. So. I misread that entirely, I'm sorry. Yes, I know. So you're confused. I confused myself. I apologize. I thought what you'd written was about to say that I should farm Hayabusa Feather. But what you were saying was that you were about to farm for it. Why Critical Eye +1? Well, why not? The reality is that I wanted to incorporate Hayabusa Feather into this particular Gunlance set. It's essentially a damage-focused set. This one is sort of a different version of what I used to use, and still occasionally use, which was an elemental-focused Gunlance set. This one's focused on damage. While I understand that you can't get critical damage off with either Wyvern Fire or regular Gunlance shelling, I very frequently use the Gunlance non-shelling, which is to say, if I do a full combo leading up to a heavy shot, that's a number of attacks that can benefit from Critical Eye. It's also worth mentioning that the heavy slam of the Gunlance has pretty good motion value, as you would imagine, being the final hit in a triple combo. And you can literally see your character slamming it onto the monster. So having that end up dealing critical damage will obviously be helpful. I haven't actually committed all that much to Critical Eye. Essentially what I've done here is I've ended up with 12 points for Critical Eye +1. What it is effectively doing is giving my Gunlance the chance to deal critical damage, which is pretty good if you compare it to no possibility of dealing critical damage at all. So that's how I've evaluated it. Is Critical Eye a Gunlance skill? No, it's not. But is it still effective and viable? Yes, it is. I've already got my artillery skills in there, and Guard Up, both of which are specific to the Gunlance. And as far as I'm concerned, that's more than enough for Gunlance specific skills for a Gunlance set. Obviously, Sharpness +2 is self-explanatory. That is, Sharpness skills are very helpful with a weapon type that depletes Sharpness quickly by way of its form of attack, which is shells and explosions, etc. It really does put pressure on sharpness depletion. So therefore, either having Razor Sharp or Sharpness plus 2, or even both in some cases if you can manage it, is very helpful. You're welcome for the explanation. What am I doing? It's Bloodbath. I don't want to really use anything close range, so I'll go ranged combat. Maybe Elemental. I don't know if Ice is still good for Bloodbath. It probably is. I'm going to double check just for good measure. I'm assuming that I can forge the Bloodbath armor. Yes, I can. Water is actually, at least according to those weaknesses, considerably better than Ice, so I will use the Water Light Bowgun that I have. Artillery Novice with Charge Blade is entirely appropriate. There's nothing wrong with that. It actually increases your damage. Yeah, what do you think, Alden? He's just asked me if I'm coming. What do you reckon? I've changed from Gunlance to Light Bowgun. If you were slightly more observant and slightly less retarded, you would have noticed that. So don't ask if I'm coming. Of course I'm coming. Anyway, sorry. If it sounds like that was... I went from 0 to 100 really quickly there, it's because I'm sick of people asking me if I'm coming, if I'm taking a moment to get ready. Anyway, what was I saying? It was actually something important. Yeah, so Artillery Novice does increase damage pretty well with Charge Blade, but the increase with Expert is like 0.05, which is nothing. It is something, but it's not worth an additional 5 points in artillery in most cases. You'd be better off having your set focused on something else than increasing artillery beyond just +10. So I've got water level 1 there. That's probably all I need, to be honest. So is this a 1 feint? It is actually just a capture quest. Alright. Well, that would be your counter-argument, yeah. Files are definitely weaker in Generations Ultimate and Generations compared with, I suppose, 4 Ultimate and World, as much as I would hate to compare it to World, but it's a relevant comparison because World is the game that came after this one and 4 Ultimate is the one that came before it. The situation is that it does make sense to not commit to increasing file damage in a game where they are nerfed. It shouldn't be considered a case of, well, the files are weaker, so I should increase the damage. It's more like the more you multiply the effectiveness of something good, the better it is, and then the weaker it is, the less you should bother increasing its damage. In that sort of way, you know, there are two ways to look at it, logically speaking. I enjoy using Artillery Novice because it's effectively a skill specific to the weapon type. Maybe not unique to the weapon type, because it can also be used to great effect with Gunlance, for example. But it does feel like a skill that can only be used with certain weapons, and it's nice to be able to use it with Charge Blade. So for romantic reasons, I use it. But then obviously some people use Elemental Charge Blade, myself included, which is not going to receive any benefits from artillery. So, there you go. What I say is, don't get hung up on, you know, the little details of damage. Just have fun. Build what's effective and fun, not necessarily what is hyper effective and meta. Because I think when you start worrying about the meta game, that's where things start to get a little bit lifeless, a little bit soulless. It's not to promote ignorance of the specifics of damage application in the game. It's instead to say, don't get too hung up on it. You know, strike a balance between having fun, making fun sets, and being effective. The objective should be to avoid being ineffective in Monster Hunter, or missing very, very obvious opportunities to deal good damage. At this stage, my best defensive maneuver is going to be Bullet Geyser. I will use it when I deem it necessary. That actually would have been the moment to use it, but fortunately I managed to get out of the way of that attack. I was expecting it to have a wider hitbox. I really was expecting it to have a wider hitbox than that. It turns out to be fairly reasonable. This is a capture quest, but I don't think we're really at risk of killing it accidentally. I don't think the team's that amazing. It could be. Maybe I haven't been keeping track of the team. Maybe it's a team of very skilled hunters that will beat down this Diablos. So far I'm seeing basic bitch greatsword set, basic bitch heavy bowgun set, which does translate to good damage, but sometimes depends on who's using it. Okay, so I think that was that a head break? I can't see the part of the horn broken, so yeah, the horn didn't break off. Maybe that was break number 1. Should have used Bullet Geyser. Oh no, we didn't get a chain run. A raw chain run, however you want to say that. That was a very good KO. Nice work whoever was building up to get that off. There we go, got the horn break. It's just useful to have. Should be out of range of that raw. It was good that I jumped it. Oh my god. Yeah, take it easy, man. It was good that I did a dive for that particular one because that was on my position. He was going to run at me. And he certainly attempted to. And again, if I hadn't dived in that situation, I would have been hit. I know what's coming. I know precisely how you work. You can see how it's slightly delayed there, that steam attack that he has. Is to catch you if you dive preemptively. The thing with a dive is that the invulnerability period lasts for a really long time. But my dive timing was still appropriate enough to be able to clear the steam attack. Which I would imagine I would have been in range to suffer the damage of. I actually didn't carve the horn there, I should do that. I don't think I've carved it too many times in the past. But yeah, it's nice to use something that's not ice against Diablos. It's always refreshing. Whoa. I was actually partially hoping that you'd get stuck in the wall there. I have a feeling... Oh no. No, the Vespoid did not get caught in the steam attack. Very well. That would have been funny, actually. Too bad it did not end up being funny, because it didn't happen that way. What are you doing? There are some attacks and movements of this monster that are still unfamiliar to me. I have to say, considering the strategy that this guy's oh dear. Are you seeing this? I was about to say, the strategy that this Mao guy is employing is not actually resulting in frequent pierce shots going through the monster, and I was wondering why, and then I looked at what he was doing, and he's shooting his pierce shots without going into crouch fire mode. I think he just looked at some other person's armor set, assumed that Pierce Heavy Bowgun Valor was such a great strategy, but then didn't actually realize what was required to deal good damage with it. Look at him go. He is using look at him go. He's pinging now, maybe out of some sort of concern for the fact that I'm standing next to him. Well, I'm concerned for you. If you don't know how to use Valor, make a real fucking bowgun set, man. God's sake. It's very positive of you, Tal. I hope it's going to be that good. But, yeah, welcome to the live stream. I just watched a guy using Valor Heavy Bowgun without using Valor Crouchfire, and presumably shooting Pierce level 3 with Orcus Quarcus, which has left him shooting one shot every, I don't know, 3 seconds? Something like that. Maybe even at a slower fire rate than that. Just fucking atrocious, quite frankly. I mean, an embarrassment. Nothing too exciting in the rewards, I don't think. I did forget to carve the horn, but that's alright. Because I don't think I'm going to be making any Bloodbath stuff anytime soon. I've already made the Bloodbath bow, and possibly something else, but yeah. Well, actually, the Bloodbath stuff is pretty good, and I may want to make it. In fact, I have a vague recollection of wanting to make some Bloodbath stuff, but I couldn't because I didn't have Bloodbath materials, but whatever, I'm not in a rush to forge anything on this character, I have to admit. So, apparently I'm player 1, but I'm not the host. I don't know if it falls to me to post, because Alden was the last person to post, so you would imagine that going in descending order rather, it would return to me. But I don't want to post. Are we... Oh, it's deviant turns. Okay, well maybe I could post a deviant quest. I do want to kill... Elderfrost Gammoth. There you go. Elderfrost Gammoth, just like that. It's already pre-typed. I'm doing this for trunk spines. Last time I attempted to do it, we failed miserably. And it was pretty much one guy dying 3 times, if I remember correctly. Which was very annoying. I don't know if I want to bring Lance for this, but... No, I think I want to bring Insect Glaive, actually. Do I want to do that? If you want to, says Pika Punk, shut up. I'm telling you what we're doing. And I'm changing my loadout and then posting the quest. I let you know what we were doing out of courtesy, so that you can actually get ready. It's your turn, says Pika Punk. Thanks, Pika Punk. It's alright. You completely misunderstood why I was saying what we were doing. I literally I expressed it in the chat as a statement, not as a question, nor a request. I'm so displeased that I can't speak English anymore. But seriously, it was a statement, and you can either get ready for it or not. Elderfrost Gammoth, we want G3. I don't like this quest, by the way, because the verticality of the area in which you fight Gammoth actually puts his trunk in an awkward position sometimes. It can actually end up under the ground, and you can't actually hit it, which is very awkward when you're trying to break the damn thing. So, yeah, not a fan of that, but I do want to fight 2 in 1 quest, so this is how it has to be. I may as well eat for Defender. Break trunk, please. Breakfast! Yeah, breakfast. I suppose you could technically eat a Gammoth. Might be a bit gamey. Break trunk. And then I'll add a cute little PLS. Aww. He said please. Well, I have to. I actually want trunk spines, and to be honest, I really don't want to fight this monster again. I'm going to need to, because I need a lot of trunk spines, but the less I can fight this monster going forward, the happier I'm going to be as a person. Anyway. Will do, says Alden. Well, thank you. I'm going to attempt to mount the monster in pursuit of a broken trunk. And with the intention of assisting the team in breaking it, in respect of both monsters. Okay. Hopefully we have a more successful attempt this time than the last time. I don't know if any of you had the misfortune, or perhaps fortune, I don't know, probably was entertaining, but if you're an empathetic type of person, you may have shared in my suffering when I last attempted this quest, and we were doing very well, both trunks broken, about to kill the second one, quest is almost over, and then a guy dies, and it was his third death that quest. That motherfucker single-handedly wasted my time in the worst possible way. And you know, he wasn't especially apologetic about it either. He wasn't noticeably ashamed of himself or anything like that. He was just like, oh well, difficult hunt, except that it wasn't. And he was an asshole. So that was the situation. And to say that it pissed me off would be the understatement of all time. I actually can't use that phrase of all time anymore without it being Tal's jokes. I'm gonna reserve it for when I am intending on doing that. Understatement of the decade, perhaps we could say. I hope we're all in position to hit this trunk. It may actually end up under the fucking snow. Yeah, look at that. Brilliant. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Who designed this fucking area? What a stupid idea. What a stupid fucking idea. Hopefully this is all making contact with the trunk. I can only pray. I don't know if it's one of those scenarios where, you know, you can technically have a head hit zone and a horn hit zone, but hitting the head still breaks the horns. That is definitely the case for certain monsters, so maybe that's the case for Gammoth. There is a tusk break and a trunk break, and you can break the tusks and the trunk hitting the same part of the monster, technically speaking. That's what I hope is the case. I don't know for sure, but I have reason to believe that that's true. Yeah, right, okay. Congratulations, Tal. Whatever gives you pleasure. I don't know if the trunk is broken. I have to actually confess that a broken trunk is not as obvious to my eye as perhaps it is to some people, because I have had reason to believe that the trunk was broken in the past and then it wasn't, and I just couldn't understand how it wasn't broken. It just made no sense to me. It looked broken in every respect, but it still wasn't broken, so I don't trust it anymore. Fuck off, man. Get a life. You saw that. Gammoth was actually targeting me specifically with every single one of those trunk slaps. You need to go and fuck yourself. Just go away. You're the worst of the Fated Four. You're an ugly monster. You were interesting for about 10 minutes when I was marveling at the fact that you were a unique monster within the series, but now, quite frankly, you can go and fuck yourself. I'm glad that you haven't returned yet. Not that it would make a difference to me. Stupid monster. I hate this thing. I'm sick of fighting it. Do you know how many times I've fought Elder Frost Gammoth? Too many times. I've had enough. Well, for now, Tal. For now, you have ruined it. I'm sure it won't be forever. I'm not going to be going for another mount. It's not worth it. You might imagine that it's worth it, but your imagination doesn't shape reality. Well, yes it can. But not in this case, shut up. See, is the trunk broken or not? How am I to know? How am I to know this? Naturally, the most dangerous part of the monster to attack is the trunk. Oh my god. Scary when he can track a particular hunter for that long during that attack where he's lifting his entire, or almost his entire body off the ground. It's a great deal of his weight being supported by his hind legs, that's for sure. Do your thing, oh yeah. Is anyone sick of this deviant theme? Because I am. I got sick of it the year the game came out, so you can imagine how I feel about it now. I'm so sick of being hit by everything that you do. I will readily admit that I've been hunting you in the most lazy way possible, but I hate you. I have no more energy to give when fighting you. Do you understand? This is the best you're gonna get. I mean, you. Because I think you would like to have a good confrontation for your final moments of life, Gamel. Ugh. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm not going to go in there and mess around with it. Well, there you go. And Tyler's sick of the deviant theme and he hasn't even gotten to them yet in the game. Which is pretty much the deviant theme in a nutshell. I'd like to go for a capture, but I don't need to capture. Let's see if I can get him in the trap. If you drop it too early, he'll actually be unaffected by it. Alright. It just, I like the idea of having one of them captured and one of them killed. It feels better. So if I can get it done on the first monster, I don't have to worry about the second one. It just happens, you know. Hello. He gave me a very good opportunity to attack his trunk, but I was adjusting my seating position. Stop it. Again, remember when I said that he hits me with everything he does? Case in point. The thing about the Deviant theme is that it's very generic. Because it's for use with many different monsters, so it doesn't have much inspiration behind it, I don't think. I could be wrong, maybe it sounds fine and it's just easy to get sick of. I'm not about to theorize why it might be so easy to get sick of. All I know is that I'm sick of it, and pretty much everyone is in agreement on that fact. Just stop. Oh, that's right, I should be doing my mount attacks. Silly me. Forgot that this is a new Gamoth. There we go. Occasionally you can actually mount, well, it happens fairly often now that I think about it. You can mount Gamoth and then your mount is cancelled because he ends up standing outside the combat zone. That's very annoying. This is precisely where I want the trunk. It'd be nice if I didn't slowly move away from it while attacking it though. I don't know if that was effective in breaking the trunk at all. I'm doing my best. It seemed like the first Gamoth had its trunk broken faster. I don't think we've had a break of any kind yet. Which doesn't bode well because we just had what I felt to be a pretty successful mount, but it obviously wasn't. Had to dive all of the fucking snowballs there. Ugh. Could go for another mount, see if it's worth spamming it. This is a monster that's very easy to mount spam, I will say. I will use Extract Hunter. I have to stand on an incline Otherwise I'll miss. Go and fuck yourself. You stupid mammoth bastard. He just cancelled my extract hunter. Now I have to take a few seconds to get my colours manually. I added an additional syllable to that word, and we're not going to discuss it further. Anyway, I will actually seek to achieve a second mount. I'd say it's worth it. We're doing it for ultimate style, guys. There we go, mount number 2. It's worth going for a second mount with Mounting Master if you're fighting Gammoth, because again, he's so big that your insect glaive is likely to make contact with it. Hope we're all hitting this fucking trunk. I'm doing my utmost right now. It seems like everyone's doing the best they can to hit the trunk. I don't know if it's broken or not. That looks broken. Come on. One can... Oh, that's probably it. It's actually more like wishful thinking and guesswork at this stage, but... 2 solid opportunities to hit the trunk, plus a general willingness on the part of the team to hit the trunk has, I think, resulted in a broken trunk. Oh, don't get caught in that. If you can avoid it. I may as well sharpen. Almost got hit by a snowball. There's probably other ways to refer to it. I like calling it a snowball because it sounds very... unintimidating. I've never really considered the Monster Hunter OST to become dull after having heard a lot of it. But I do obviously agree with you that Monster Hunter Tri has the nicest OST. It's the OST that I find most pleasant to the ear. Just that arena music from Tri, oh my god. What a king of a fucking soundtrack that is. But quite frankly, yeah, Tri was the best game for music. When it comes to Monster Hunter. Trying to get my red color. And I'm struggling. We're about to get a dead Gammoth, I think. I'm trying to get out of the range of that. Never mind, that was a sitting attack. Well, the thing with Triatal is that it's both exceptional and those who played Tri can also attach a very, very pleasant gaming experience to that music through a past experience that they've had with the game. Like, for example, I listen to the online music, which is to say the music from Locklack that would play in online sessions, and it takes me back to a time when I was playing Tri. The music is amazing and very emotive and emotional. And quite frankly, you combine that with nostalgic pleasure and pleasant memories of that game, and you get a very intense combination. Definitely brings a tear to the eye, and I'm not joking. That's not a figure of speech. The song Lock Like Be Eternal is one of my favorite video game tracks. Because it takes me straight back. What it does is... so that song, Lock Like Be Eternal, specifically played during the night in Lock Like. And it actually... just even saying that there gave me a chill right up my spine. A cold chill. Because there was a certain serenity and beauty to Lock Like at night. And the music was so laid back and so pleasant. And quite frankly, so were the online interactions back then. It was just a time that will never again be, and it's very poignant and generally upsetting, actually, but you know, it's because of that experience that nothing that ever came out of 4 Ultimate could never actually compare in terms of impact and intensity for me. Isn't this monster supposed to be dead? I thought you were limping. This thing has got a second life. Unbelievable. Anyway. And, you know, with Monster Hunter Tri returning, like the online Lock Like, it's kind of strange. I don't know if I'm ready to go back yet. I was torn away. Like, Lock Like and I were torn apart in the most unpleasant way. The most tragic way. You know, I loved Lock Like and I loved that game, but the servers disappeared. But again, as I've said before, I'm not sure if I'm ready to go back. I'm having a lot of fun in these other games, and yeah. I will probably make a new character for it. It's tempting to use an old one, but I think I want to experience Tri again. Properly experience it. Really reacclimate myself to what made it special. Not just go based on vague memories and then almost fuse that with experience and understanding from having played 3 Ultimate consistently since that came out. Instead, I want the Tri experience, so I will make a new character. I'm tempted to use the character that I built for my Let's Play if I can port that over. I think I can. So I may use that character, but I don't know what I named that character. I don't know if I want my Tri character to be that. So I'll have a look, I'll see how I went with it. Because it would be nice to get past like the very early game, like to have that already done. I did that fairly recently, so it's still fresh in my mind, and I put a little bit of effort into that character for that Let's Play, so, you know, I'm willing to work on that one going forward. But, yeah, I don't think I'll be using my second character. My original is actually lost forever, but my second character is Hunter Rank 200 and, I think, 215, 218. I didn't check to see if I got a trunk spine, I hope I did. I hope I got at least one, come on. But yeah, I will, once it is easy to do so, I will rejoin Lock Like online. And, because I've got everything set up, I've got the emulator set up, I've got my old save there, but I don't think I'm going to use it. And, yeah. I'm both ready, but not at the same time. For a change, I actually took a turn in a turns room. Not to mention a deviant turns room specifically, which is odd. But I'm going to see if I can upgrade any of my... What the fuck? I just accepted a guild card that I had no intention of accepting because the timing of it appearing on my screen perfectly coincided with my intention to engage with this fellow's services. That was probably a guild card from Pika-Punk, given that he has just decided to leave, yes. I'm not interested in your guild card, it's nothing personal, it's just that I have no need for it. I would like to check my upgrades. I'm going to look at the lands. I think I'd like the lance from Elder Frost. I'm assuming that I've started? Yes. Well, you see, I don't actually know if I got any. So it's no use me saying, oh, I need one more, because I can't use that to evaluate how much I achieved in that previous hunt. I'm still a trunk spine away from making this lance, and that pisses me off. Of course, I would use this without sharpness +1 and then have this be a blunt ice lance, but yeah, I'm pretty pissed off. I'm really sick of all of these trunk spines that I need, because if you want to use blunt weapons in this game, Gammoth weapons are excellent. They're really excellent. So what that ends up translating to is a whole lot of Elder Frost Gammoth hunting to get trunk spines. Too much. Apparently I only got one trunk spine. Okay. Well, I can believe that. You never know, we may have actually failed to break one of the trunks. It's entirely possible. It may have looked as if they were broken. I swear to you, hand on heart, those trunks can look broken, but they're not. Don't know what it is. I'm willing to do a Snow Baron Lagombi. I'm going to use dual blades. In fact, I'm going to use blunt dual blades, seeing as though I've been discussing blunt weaponry. I've got some fun... Oh no, I thought I had some fun fire blunt dual blades, but I'm getting confused with the sword and shield, I think. But dual cut coup works really well. Look at this. That's a fucking loadout. This is without the boost to damage by way of bludgeoner. So that's going to be perfectly appropriate. Let's go with that. Yeah, you're definitely welcome to join. Are you Poyo from Hunsterverse, or are you just someone who happens to have that name? You're probably not the person from Hunsterverse, because I can't imagine that person having Generations Ultimate. Are you... yeah, exactly. Don't worry about it. There's someone from a monster hunting community that's named Poyo that I thought may have been you, but clearly not. Are you Akemi in the online room? You're obviously welcome to join. It's not actually my room. It may look like it is, but it's actually not. I didn't make it. I would never make a deviant turns room. That's bizarre. I'm going to eat 4 insurance. And I'm guessing no one else has done that, because no one ever seems to. No one ever seems to eat for insurance. So I'm happy to be the one guy doing it. This is going to be a single faint deviant, I can tell, because it's G4 and there's only one of them, so... yeah. Insurance makes a big difference. It means that we've got 1 chance. No, I guess 2 chances, technically. Because if 1 feint meant that you had 0 chances, you shouldn't, by that logic, be able to engage the monster at all. Because you don't have a chance. No chance has been given for you to kill it, so... if that were the case, you would depart on the quest and immediately fail. Which would be funny, except that it wouldn't be. So there you go. Very enlightening, Doomlink. Thank you. Mao is asking for you because, I don't know, you're just not fast enough. Which you are, but not for him. Don't apologize to him. Do not apologize to that person. You did not take long at all. You took about 120 seconds. So, quite frankly, these people can relax. It's their impatience that needs to change. Not the speed at which you take, or the speed at which you prepare for a hunt. I don't think I've transmogged many of my sets at all. I don't have time to do transmog in this game. I was very excited about the transmog system when I heard about it in Double Cross before this game came out. Well, this version of Double Cross. But when I actually got to the point where I was in endgame, I realized that I didn't care enough about the appearance of my character to bother. The main reason is because every Monster Hunter game that I've played before this has not had transmog, so you get used to having ugly armor sets. You really do, and it just doesn't become important just because you can actually change that now. It's not worth the time. It is for some people, I recognize that, and I don't seek to, you know, trivialize or discount the things that they value, but seriously, I've realized that the appearance of my character just means nothing to me in Monster Hunter. It is that simple. So yeah, I don't really bother with transmog. I've done it for fun every now and again. I think I've got 2 transmogged sets, but outside of that, no, it's not worth it. One was my first finalized G-rank set, because I thought maybe I would be willing to do transmog at that point. And my other was a set with Link's armor set from The Legend of Zelda, because I had to make a set like that. I don't think I have it anymore though, sadly, because I updated my Sword and Shield set. And long story short, I didn't update the transmog to reflect that. It was to be my Sword and Shield set, the one with the Link armor set transmogged, but no, I didn't continue with that. We've got a big boulder though. Ice block, whatever you want to call it. Ice boulder. Stop moving around. You are a very interesting Lagombi, but you're also very annoying. And very furry. Apparently we've got, yeah, paralysis coming out. Very well. I will Demon Dance to keep myself on position with the weak point. That's really the function of Demon Dance. It's not that Demon Dance is particularly damaging. People seem to use Demon Dance as if it is. It's fucking not. Never has been. It's just that if surgical accuracy with weapons like dual blades is important in whatever situation you're in, yeah, Demon Dance has a place. But the most damaging combo is the standard X into A combo. So, while in Demon Heist mode, that's the most damaging combo, so yeah. But of course that's much less accurate. In the situation that I was in there, it made more sense to get consistent hits off on the face. So that's what I did. And it was beneficial. Yeah, stop it. I'm probably going to get punished for doing that. Technically avoided a direct hit by being affected by Snowblind. I don't have to worry about bouncing, that's for sure. I did hear that sound effect of bouncing off some part of the monster. You fat rabbit. Bear rabbit. Yeah, this is definitely not going to be a long hunt. I can see that there's heavy damage going out consistently. My damage currently is 401 raw with 27 element, so not too bad. Ordinarily that would be insanely good, but it's just good because I don't have any decent sharpness multiplier added onto that. The biggest mistake is to evaluate 400 true raw at green sharpness. Like to actually evaluate that in the same way as you would a 400 true raw with, say, white or purple sharpness. They're not in the same league. They're simply not. It's because that damage multiplier in the back end is significant. It's more... Bludgeoner is designed to compensate you for the lack of a sharpness multiplier. It's not designed to make it just ridiculously overpowered. Although it can sometimes do that, depending on the weapon you're using. Snow Baron Cuirass. Apparently, I just carved a piece of actual clothing off the monster. Very well. Unless it has another use. Oh dear. I have not fought much Snow Baron, it has to be said. I think the most time I've spent hunting Snow Baron has been in the Elderfrost G5 quest. I believe Snow Baron Lagombi made an appearance in that. Outside of that quest, I really haven't fought this monster. A little bit. I have fought him a little bit, but generally not. I'll hang around in this room for a little while, but once I really get sick of... Actually, I suppose once my turn comes around again, I can post Elderfrost Gamoth. I'm going to really bore you guys by saying this, but I'm getting really sick of fighting that monster, but I do actually want the Snow Baron, not the Snow Baron, the Elderfrost weapons, so as painful as it is, I think I'll just have to bite the bullet and keep trying. As long as I tell the team that I want to break the trunk spines and we endeavor to get that done every time, maybe it'll all be over and done with before I know it. Hopefully. One can only pray. We'll see what other fucking Elder Frost weapons I want to make. So that one's fully upgraded, thankfully. This one requires 3, so that's 6 fucking trunk spines so far. There's every possibility that I want to forge more than this as well. I mean, maybe, hopefully it's just 6. Hopefully. God. I mean, 6 is already too many, but by the looks of it, yes. I could always be wrong, maybe. I haven't actually begun forging the other weapons that I wanted to make. Who posted that? That was Mao. So, P4. That's you. Megalopoil. Who is Akemi in game? Just make sure it's a deviant, because that is the requirement of this room. I want to at least keep to that stricture. A lot of people just don't actually bother. They will arbitrarily decide to diverge from the written objective in the room name, but the reality is that people have joined because of what the objective is, so, you know, maybe they would be willing to do standard turns, I don't know, but doesn't matter. Oh, you wanted to post Elderfrost? Well, that's very nice of you. Please post... Hold on, let me just check. Do G3, please. That's going to be the best for trunk spines. I was just checking my quest. So yeah, if you were going to post for me to give me an extra turn, then yeah, Elderfrost G3 will be best for me. What am I going to eat? This is technically going to mean that I'll have to fight Elderfrost more often, which I simultaneously want to do but don't want to do. And you know what, I'm just going to take the opportunity as it comes. I am happy with using Insect Glaive for this, so I'll do that again. I think this is an entirely different team to the one that I was playing with before. Maybe Mao is from that original team that fought the previous Elder Frost? I don't know. Please break. No. Fucking hell. Break. Trunk spines. Actually, just trunk. No, please break trunk. I've made my request. They're probably like, who are you to request this? It's not your quest. Well, it actually is. That's what you don't know. Alright. But yeah, it's entirely pointless for me to do this quest if we don't break the trunks, so... let's do the best we can to achieve that. You got it right. You did get it right. This is the level. What's going on? You've given me something. PS level 3. Oh, so I can give it to you. Okay. Fine. I don't think you're going to need that much, jeez. This isn't the kind of game where you need that much. So look at this. What King just wrote is the Chinese version of let's do this. You know what I mean when I say that? When people say let's do this, that means I want to depart right now. Well, he sent the Chinese equivalent of I want to depart now. And quite frankly, he can go and fuck himself because we were not taking too long to get ready at all. I'm sick of every single person who plays this game having zero patience. Literally zero patience, and literally every person we play with is like that. It's ridiculous. Just get a fucking life. That's the situation. Like, we weren't mucking about. You were giving me something. He doesn't know what you were giving me, but it's none of his business. Like, let us do what we need to do. We're not taking much time at all. And then we can go on the quest and you can relax. Anyway. Well, you see, this is the point in Guns Luna. There is no understanding of what Monster Hunter is anymore. No one doesn't... excuse me, no one has that understanding anymore. Monster Hunter used to be all about preparation. That has actually disappeared over time, and the reason why is because people don't want that anymore. People don't want to take time to prepare. The faster they can get in a quest, the faster they're being entertained, and it's just that the immediacy of entertainment and the expectation of immediate entertainment. It's like, well, I need to be hunting now. I don't have time to prepare. But in the process of deciding from a structural level to change the game to reduce the preparation time, you've basically destroyed the complexities and the beauty of Monster Hunter. So there you go. It's the destruction of a series and the basis of a series for the benefit of a new generation of mindless video gamers who, quite frankly, do not even begin to deserve to be catered for. Fuck those people. Why should I have my favourite game series be ruined for their benefit? They can go and play something else, quite frankly. But of course, it's not about that. It's just Capcom trying to appeal to a new generation of people. I'm not so much referring to this game when I say, you know, changing Monster Hunter to suit these people. I mean, definitely things like item sets contribute to that, but then traditional Monster Hunter players who understand the importance of preparation will make the argument, oh, well, it's just quality of life. Well, it is. But there has to be a line drawn where too much convenience is actually harmful. Seems like everyone's aiming for the trunk spine, or the trunk to get trunk spine, which is fortunate. I will actually do some mount spamming here. because I think it will be helpful. I'm able to get mounting attacks off frequently enough to make it worth my while. And it's a very useful opportunity to hit the trunk. It's quite difficult to hit the trunk under normal circumstances, and it's dangerous. See what I mean? This is the perfect monster for mount spamming, except for when that happens. Ugh. It's very dangerous sometimes to do that. Well, I don't think item sets are necessarily bad in and of themselves. It's just that whole idea of focusing so heavily on quality of life. What happens is there is a misguided belief that there needs to be a quality of life improvement with every iteration of Monster Hunter. It's probably like that in all series, to be honest. But at what point have you crossed the threshold of quality of life and entered into the realms of oversimplification and a loss of meaning in what you're doing in the interest of convenience? I don't think Capcom has a clue where that line is drawn. And what I do know is that the general Monster Hunter player wouldn't even begin to understand what I've just said or care. So this is why I don't even bother. It's a fucking pointless discussion to have with the community because none of them care. And I just don't really have any respect for Capcom's position on it either, because they've demonstrated a complete inability to even evaluate the things that matter in their own video game. They're quite happy to pander to completely mindless idiots. I don't think they're necessarily being supine about it. I just think that they're struggling to strike a balance of their own, and at the end of the day, they think that no matter what they do, there's always going to be someone complaining about what they've done, which is true. It's absolutely true, but it's about establishing for yourself what's important. And I don't, in my opinion, Capcom doesn't have the right vision of what's important. It's not as conceited as they don't agree with me, so they're wrong. It's that I strongly believe in my own position, you know, and I feel that my position should be reflected by Capcom more than anyone else. Because they're the ones who've been making the games from the beginning. It's the people who haven't played the older games that really should be losing focus of where it all began. Because they probably don't have the experience to even know where it began in the first place. Yeah, anyway. It is a whole subject. And one that I'm sick of too. Because it's a pointless one. And an unpleasant one. Because it forces me to basically accept that Monster Hunter is something I don't want to play anymore, and it will probably always be that way from now on. And not out of any stubbornness on my part. I've tried. I've really tried to enjoy the new stuff, but it just doesn't even know how to be Monster Hunter anymore. It actually doesn't get it. Capcom don't get it? Well, they get it, but they don't care. And 5th gen players, it's a different language to them, you know, different language. They literally don't understand it. You can yell it at them until you're blue in the face, and they'll be like, care? So that's pretty much what's going on. That's why I don't bother anymore. Alright, let's build up some more mounting damage. Hopefully before this thing dies. I'm concerned about all the pierce damage, and I'll tell you why. It's because I want damage to be focused on the trunk. You seeing this? That fucking trunk's not broken. Now here's the question. Is it broken or is it not? I don't think it is. I think that stuff, those spikes there need to be broken. I don't think that scar up there is actually contributing to trunk spine drops. But again, these people, of course, pierce gunners cannot aim for weak points. It's not how pierce gunners operate. They are firing shots that pass through multiple parts of the monster's body for maximum damage for minimal effort. That's literally the pierce strategy. So, you know, having a team of pierce gunners helping me break things is probably not helpful. They can break things indiscriminately, but they can't really aim shots at something like that trunk and actually have it work effectively, but it's fine. Gunzolino says, I'm sad that I can say that I know enough 5th gen players that I tried to get to play 4th gen and it was too much for them and they stopped playing before going to high rank. That really does say a lot, doesn't it? Oh look, no trunk spines. Not even one. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a waste of a hunt. Complete waste of a hunt. And it's not for lack of trying. What you're seeing here is why I hate getting trunk spines. It's not just that I have to hunt Elderfrost Gammoth, it's that getting them is fucking annoying. It's really, really annoying. I can never get a team to successfully break it. Well, I mean, it's a fucking death sentence to have a bunch of pierce gunners doing that anyway, but, yeah. Yeah, of course, the guy using the Orcus Quarkus is not going to be aiming for anything, because he's using that loadout because he doesn't want to have to actually aim properly. He just wants to shoot his gun and have the monster die. So that's the situation. Thanks for joining, Poyo. I will see you again, maybe. Anyway, I don't even want to I don't want to continue in this room. You people can eat cock. I have nothing against Mal, but that guy with the Orcus Quarkus can just choke in his own bile. I swear I've played with Angela Baby before, but I have no recollection as to whether or not this is a person that I would like to hunt with. So there you go. But yeah, it really is telling that people who play 5th gen and are probably quite accomplished and capable of playing 5th gen, at least from Gunzolino's experience, will try 4th gen and it's actually too much for them. 4th generation? 4th! I mean, it's actually incomprehensible. When I really sit here and think about it, the idea that 4th generation is too divergent to what they understand for them to be able to adjust. That's extraordinary. I just can't even... Because to me, I've blocked out a bit of 5th gen now, for my own benefit, and because I play so much of 1st, 2nd and 3rd gen, whenever I play 4th gen, it just feels like such a smooth, modern, cutting-edge Monster Hunter experience. And yet these people go back to 4th gen and they're like, this is so clunky, this is, you know, things like that. They would never be able to articulate what it is they don't like about it. It's just that, the graphics aren't pretty enough, the animations aren't good enough, the frame rate's too slow, the game's clunky. Because that is how shallow their fucking experience with Monster Hunter is. It's not their fault. But that's, unfortunately, because they've developed an interest in 5th generation, they've attached themselves to things that aren't actually important. Because the things that weren't important is precisely what 5th gen focused on. So, that's the situation. Thoughts on Prowlers. You want to see my thoughts on Prowlers? There's always a quick answer to this question. That's my thought on Prowlers, okay? And 2 of those Prowler uses were actually under duress. Like, I had to use Prowler to get something that I was forging from a Prowler-specific challenge quest or arena quest or something like that. I had no desire to use Prowler, had to do it. Otherwise, I would have just had to decide not to get whatever I was trying to forge. So, yeah. What's going on? Angela Baby. Okay, I'll accept your guild card because it's funny. Lily can not have my guild card in my list. Have their guild card in my list. Anyway, what was the monster on the board? I don't know. I'm going to use this loadout because this should work just fine. Anyway. Now, I have to say that with every month that passes, and I do mean every month, I become more and more distant from 5th generation. It almost feels as if I can't even talk about it anymore because it's so irrelevant to me. The only reason why it is relevant is because A, there's this misconception that somehow because I'm playing this, there is a link between me and them. And somehow because I'm playing this, there's a link between this game and 5th gen. There sort of is, but there really isn't, fundamentally. At the end of the day, I will never be able to divorce myself of the link between this and whatever Capcom wants to continue calling Monster Hunter into the future. I can't actually remove myself from that because they're still going to keep calling it Monster Hunter and people are still going to compare this to 5th gen. Even if they compare it in the way that I would agree with, which is that this is better, they're still constantly comparing it. It is the mere fact that comparisons are being made that I will never be able to escape modern Monster Hunter. The Monster Hunter that I don't want to play. I can never escape it. Which is why I continue to discuss it, but it has to be said that I really have no involvement in it anymore. Could just as well not exist. It's just sad that it... Motherfucker. I don't know, maybe he didn't wake up the monster with a shot. It's hard to actually tell. We've got EX Mizutsune here. I haven't fought him for a little while. But... yeah, oh, here we go, this is a good opportunity. EX Solcia Mizutsune more specifically. Not just EX. Well, there is no EX standard Mizutsune, so quite frankly, I don't need to clarify that. I think what I'm trying to get across is quite clear. My hair's in there. Stop it. I've got gunshots everywhere, preventing me from doing anything, but particularly preventing me from getting closer to the monster, or at the very least positioning myself in an appropriate way while adjusting my hair. And some may argue that I shouldn't be doing that in the first place, but you know what, sometimes when you've got long hair, it's not a matter of preference, it's a matter of necessity. Ugh. I have not recently used Greatsword against this monster, so don't expect me to position myself well to get consistent high-level charge attacks off. Alright, well I'm bubbled, so I'm probably going to have a lot of Mizutsune's attention right now. Are you seeing this? I'm constantly having to chase this asshole. He actually won't do anything that allows me to get an attack out. He just moves immediately to somewhere else. It's all I've done this entire fucking hunt. I've just chased him without being able to do anything. If I do this, what can I get out? Nothing. Even if I immediately go for a charge attack, from the moment that I catch up with him, he still ends up out of my range before I can even get a level 1 charge. So, what am I doing right now? What a terrible choice of weapon. Fuck this. Some people can say, oh well, your ability to use the Greatsword against a monster that's not good against the Greatsword is proportionate to your capacity to use it. You know, well no, clearly not, because all I'm doing is chasing after this dickhead. And it's not working very well. Oh, here we go, here's an opportunity. Fucking hell, finally. Now compare having to chase this asshole of a monster around the whole time without actually being able to hit it at all, to the almost constant flurry of shots being unleashed on this monster by the bowgunners. And you'll realise that there is such a thing as an unviable weapon choice and an entirely viable weapon choice. I am currently using the former. I only used this because I'd forgotten what was placed on the board and thought that I'd use something generic, and it turned out that it was bad. I don't like homing in on the fucking front legs. They're not good at all for raw damage, they're only good for elemental. And I'm not using elemental damage, so really I need to be aiming for the face where I can. And if not the face, then at least the body that's not the legs. Or the front legs, that is to say. The claws, I don't care what you want to say. Wouldn't mind doing a bit of Moonbreaker. What I don't like at the moment is the fact that I'm not contributing. I really was hoping to clip the face with the first two attacks, but I can only do my best, can't I? Alright. We do have... oh no. Thought it was red SP, but there's no SP effect. So how am I recovering my health like this? Maybe it's a cat ability or something. Must be a cat ability, because usually it's red or purple SP that gives you that health recovery. I know little about cats, so if I see something that I don't understand, and there's a cat, it's probably related to the cat. That's really what I would say about that. Oh, I tried to sneak in beside him there. I actually was already, like I had performed the button combination to run and dive on my controller, but I still died. That may be because I didn't get enough of a run up to achieve a dive, but oh well. I really don't care. I don't like this hunt at all. This hunt has been terrible from the beginning up until the present moment because this weapon is shit for this particular quest. Just terrible. It would only be viable solo. It actually wouldn't work. And it's not working with a group of 4 because you're constantly having to chase the monster down, and when you catch up, you're not given an opportunity to hit it substantially, so it's pointless, it's stupid. I'm never using Greatsword on this asshole again. And I love Greatsword with a passion. Finally given an opportunity, but, you know, after how much fucking time? It just doesn't come consistently enough is my point. I don't want to hit the front claws, I'm hoping for a turnaround, which I got, fortunately. You can't bank on that all the time. Managed to get a draw attack on the face. Barely. Yes, I know. This is EX too, so we're going to be here for a little while. Especially with me failing to contribute substantially. Or anything ranged air gaming, quite frankly. I mean, this is not working. Dual Blades is fine. Sword and Shield is fine. Anything that's able to catch up and deal its damage without needing to commit, like the Greatsword. No, it's EX. I'm not going for the attack opportunity. I'm going to heal up, thank you. As tempting as it is to actually contribute in terms of damage dealing, I'm not doing it. If it were anything other than EX, I would make that. I would take that risk. But no, not for EX. It's annoying to have to settle for white sharpness on this second half of the attack combo, but sometimes you just have to take what you're given. Take what you can get. Ended up on my backside though. which is much better than taking a full hit. Settle for a level 2, which I think was prudent. That was quite funny. He fell over during his spin attack and didn't get much of a spin out though. I'll settle for a level 2 again. And I'll Moonbreaker. Oh, that's good damage. Mwah! Quite frankly, that was the bowgunners who did most of that. That's actually a very fast hunt, considering how little I was contributing, and considering that that's EX level. That was a fucking fast hunt. And also considering that I died, which means that my DPS was therefore technically even lower than what it could have been. Wow. Well, the bowgunners definitely did a good job, and who knows, maybe the cat actually was doing better than me as well. Anything's possible at this rate. But, yeah. Happy that it's over. Definitely going to avoid using Greatsword against this monster in the future. There's way too much running around. It's possible that there's a better way to approach it than what I was doing, but... you know, I haven't taken the time to use Greatsword against Mizutsune with 4 people and then work out the best strategy to have that work. And I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. That is a very dramatic final hit. Are you seeing this? What the fuck? I'm doing a somersault while decapitating the Mizutsune. Look at my legs. My body is so contorted, it's ridiculous. That really is funny. It's a great shot because it shows that my, as I suspected, or it could have been a shot from, because you can actually see a bullet flying through the air. Look at that, you can actually see a bullet. You can almost never see actual bullets flying through the air. But, yeah, the situation is that my Moonbreaker 3 on the head was obviously very, very damaging, and I knew it to be so. But it seems to have been the final hit. And it made for a very good final shot. Final picture. Kill cam, whatever you want to call it. Alright. What's the situation? You know what I thought that said. You know precisely what I thought that said at first glance. Yes, I will update Elden Ring when I get back into it. It won't happen anytime soon. I'm more interested in getting back into the older Souls games again. I've been playing Dark Souls 2 on the channel, and I want to do a bit more Dark Souls 3 in my own time as well. Get reaccustomed to that game. And I do want to do more Dark Souls 1 on the channel. So that's going to be occupying my time. Elden Ring is on the back burner for a while. Do you want to take it easy? Skip me, man. Go out and have a fucking cigarette or something. I don't know what's happening with you, but you can take it easy. I think that was maybe 30 seconds of me not responding. Worst case scenario, 120 seconds. Worst case scenario. So this person can seriously relax. That's just unbelievable. Anyway. If you do, look, fuck the lot of you, I'm not interested. After that, and then seeing Bloodbath on the board. After having just done Bloodbath practically, I don't need to hang around there. I don't know what Eve is doing. Message 3, host picks quests. Fair enough. Farming 1 monster. Guess what, Sunny Jim? If you've got the time to put all these messages here, looking for experts for message 1 and 2, host picks quest, and then farming 1 monster, you know what you could fucking do? You could tell us what monster it is. You've named the hub after yourself. You've actually gone to a lot of trouble to not make it clear what it is you want to do. So I'm not sure what's happening here, but I think I need to investigate. Imagine going to all that effort and then ending up saying that you're farming one particular monster only to not include that information in the hub info. I mean, that beggars belief, quite frankly. This community. I just want to have a conversation with this person. Like, I want to sit down in front of them. I want to have a verbal conversation, eye to eye, with this person. And work out what is going on in their head. Because that is fucking weird. That's unusual. Hello, what are you hunting, man? Because it seems that the entire point of your room is for you to post something for experts to help you with, and it's likely going to be the same thing repeatedly. And yet, people joining this room have got no idea what it is you're hunting. Even though that's one of the easiest things to include in your room information. Much easier than naming the room after yourself and adding message 3 and 4 to the room info. I mean, I don't know if my set is particularly interesting to you, but I want to see what you're doing so that I can see if I want to do it, and then I can work out whether or not I want to stay. So the sooner you do that, the sooner things are going to be moving in a positive direction for me, because at the moment this is looking like a little bit of a waste of time. It is absurd that I need to ask the question, what are we hunting? Oh, Eve says, need a special quest. I see. So apparently it's not something that can be outlined in the quest info in quite so simple a way as I was suggesting. It's a special quest. If it's a single monster quest, I swear I'm just going to throw my controller and just walk out. I'm going to walk out of the room. If it's a single monster, and you guys are probably thinking, couldn't be. Couldn't be. I'm telling you. Do not underestimate these people. Do not. You underestimate them at your own peril. Anything can happen around here. That's what I've come to realise. I've never seen someone so shy to post a quest, actually. Eve has said, I need a special quest. Ooh, very mysterious. Oh, shit. Oh, never mind. I thought that was Yo-Yo. I saw Yo-Yo. Oh, Yo-Yo. I don't know if I should say Yo-Yo, like the Yo-Yo, or Yo-Yo. But anyway, the timing of Yo-Yo joining and someone running to the quest giver made me think that it was player 4 running to the quest giver, which would have added a degree of entertainment. It's a special quest. You know what that means, don't you? Did you see that instant departure of player 3? Did you see it? This guy wouldn't get anyone in his room if he actually told people what he wanted done. I know it. I know it for a fact. And he has chosen the most hilarious way to bait people into his room. That is really fucking funny. The reaction from player 3 and 4 is not, unusual. It's not unexpected. It's exactly what happens if you're doing Lao Shan Lung. That's just what happens. Eve probably thinks I'm standing here in shock at what he's posted. Oh my god. The poor bastard. I mean, at least be honest, man. At this stage, aside from naming your room Eve, looking for experts on lines 1 and 2 of your messages, you know, host chooses the quest and hunting one specific monster. Aside from doing all of that, you could just say, hey, I want to do Lao Shan Lung event. You know, just be honest. What? Oh, now you've given up completely and you've gone and posted a high rank DB. You really are a special kind of person. Is this your attempt to placate me? Oh yeah, thank God. He's gone and posted a high rank deviant instead of Lao Shan Lung event. The irony is that I'd rather do the event Lao Shan Lung than a fucking high rank deviant at Hunter rank 999, okay? You get me? My guess is that you don't. And quite frankly, it's not worth trying to explain it to you. My silence, hopefully, has communicated the whole story to you. Fucking hell. That really was a funny interaction. Poor bastard. I remember Cephadrome. I've definitely hunted with this guy before. Unless there are multiple people who've named themselves Cephadrome. That's technically possible. I don't know why that guy has departed on a quest. Maybe they were on a quest and they're just now coming back. I don't know. I'm gonna check my emails. Okay, I'm glad. If an email had come through and I'd missed it, it would have been rather awkward. No such email came through. I don't even know how to pronounce player 2's name. Loich? He said hello, which is great, but I'd rather do a hunt than exchange pleasantries at this point. This community isn't known for engaging interaction. I suppose there's nothing wrong with trying to change that, but okay, I've got someone who has surrounded their name with triple X's, which is quite frankly not of this decade, but and almost not of the previous decade. We're looking at like not the last decade, but the decade before in terms of that naming convention, but that's alright. He might be an old timer who still thinks that putting triple X in their name is both cool and also raunchy in a not perverted way. Anyway. Who knows what's going to be posted on the board? It's a mystery. Hopefully something. If it's not something, then I'm going to leave. If it's something bad, I'm going to leave. Because I have the luxury of choice at this point. Why? You're Hunter rank 999 and you're posting standard Diablos? Why? What's going on in this community? What's wrong with... Don't you see the team that we have right now? Why would you not post Hyper? Hyper would be dispatched in short order with this team, and yet you're posting standard. Why? I just don't get it. Charge Blade, I guess. Might make it fun, sort of. Not especially, but maybe a little bit. No, yes, actually, that is what I want to use. I don't know why I thought it wasn't. Briefly. I'm not expecting enjoyment, but a hunt is a hunt, so we're going to depart on it. Weakener and courage. Seems like a good combination to me. Do 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 do. Departing on a standard Diablos hunt with quite a team. Quite a team. You'd expect it to be hosted by a guy at Hunter rank, I don't know, 60? No, Hunter rank 999. That's what's going on. The reality is that even if he needs Diablo stuff, for the sake of having a substantial hunt, you'd think he would at least post the hyper. Just for fun, just so that the thing doesn't die immediately. Because we have the sort of team that's going to totally beat down this monster, to the point where it's almost not going to be fun at all. So I don't know why he doesn't have the desire in his mind to post a proper hunt for the team. Anyway. There are many mysteries abound today. And this is just going to have to be another one of them. That is to say, an unsolved mystery. A mystery that remains so. Speaking of mysteries, what the fuck is this monster doing? Can you just... The mystery, I think, is this Loich fellow. Between his internet and his choice of monster, or choice of quest more specifically, I just don't know anymore. I really don't know. Oh, the monster came out of the ground this time instead of instant transmissioning into a run after having been underground. But now suddenly being above ground, doing something. Well, it's going to be a bit more appropriate given that we're 3-manning now. Oh fuck, one of us is using hunting horn. I really could live without that. Oh fuck, I'm playing like shit with this charge blade. I think I've forgotten how to use charge blade. I forgot to get another... Well, I mean, you don't have to do it this way, but my preference is to be able to immediately fill my files after using or creating Red Shield for myself. Loading Red Shield, whatever you want to say. But I didn't have that queued up. Apparently Cephadram and I are both using Charge Blade, which is nice and all that, but... yeah. I would have much preferred 3 damage dealers as opposed to 2 damage dealers and a fucking meme weapon. But whatever. Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm here in this moment trying to contribute to some amount of KO damage to the head, which you and I can both add and build upon. But instead I'm being thrust into the fucking air by you because you apparently can't actually align your attacks appropriately with teammates. Despite what I can only assume to be at least a moderately experienced portfolio of hunting in the series. Oh, fucking hell. Thought you were moving somewhere, so I went to sheathe, you say. I've got Ripper Shield, but I don't need it. Not now. And I'm not interested in that KO damage anymore. Well. Okay. Will I go for... Oh, I can see that I might be able to assist with KO damage here. Because API, or API, I don't know how to fucking refer to it. API is actually building KO damage, so I may as well. Yeah, I think that's fair. 3 of us working together on KO damage is actually going to be really good. And quite frankly, me flying through the fucking air is not going to do much to assist in that. Look at him go, he's using absolute readiness or whatever the fuck he just used. Who knows, maybe he's actually using Adept. Adept Charge Blade. What a strategy. No, I'm not going to assume that he is. I wouldn't assume something like that of a person. I'd say that's unfair. I got a nice view of whatever was going on between your legs, Diablos, and it wasn't a whole lot of anything, so I'm going to assume that you're a female one. Oh, look at that fucking head attack. You could see that I was trying to maneuver myself around whatever he was going to do. And, yeah, that did not work. My red shield's about to disappear. I'd like to make some use of it. I'm being a bit pig-headed right now with how I'm playing. May as well try it. No, it's not going to work. I'm just going to lose my red shield. That's fine. I don't really care that much. It's probably better not to waste the files. I'm trying to get an AED with 1 file's worth of damage. Despite the fact that I got fucking 5 loaded. Thanks, Generations Ultimate. Loving that instant transmission. Oh my god, if we could stop that. It's actually making it harder to keep up with the monster if it's constantly changing its position every time it wants to begin a new attack cycle. Okay, good timing. And unsurprisingly, we have the monster already exhausted. We've dealt a lot of KO damage, so you would hope that we've got an exhausted Diablos. Get this fucking Cephalos out of the way. Admittedly, he has taken a considerable beating. I'm surprised that he lasted that long, actually, now that I look at it. Hello, Harrow Prime. Welcome to the live stream. May as well try to kill this asshole. I am not going to be able to get much use out of Energy Blade here. I don't have files loaded, so I won't try to use it now. That's alright. I'd like to do an Energy Blade wake up, but I don't think these guys are going to let him sleep, so... I do like Cephadrome's outfit, actually. It's very cool. It's that whole bathrobe mixed set again. API and his infinite wisdom is probably going to engage the monster before I can do my beautiful Energy Blade wake up. And by Energy Blade wake up, I mean Energy Blade one-hit kill from being asleep. No, I shouldn't have moved. API just got the go-ahead. I wasn't sure if it was appropriate to go for it yet. See? I shouldn't have moved. I didn't think it was ready, but because I moved API, I was like, oh, now I can go. My name's API. Whoa. And I just completely lost my opportunity to deal Energy Blade damage whatsoever, and the monster's dead, so it doesn't especially matter. Great. What a hunt. And the death animation of the Diablos allowed him to gently caress me in his final moments, which was heartening, but didn't exactly compensate me for the fact that this was a waste of a bloody hunt, quite frankly. Waste of a hunt in the sense that we didn't even need to do standard Diablos in the first place. And then the guy posted it disappeared because his internet is abysmal. And we didn't even get 2 horn breaks, for fuck's sake, despite the fact that, as far as I'm concerned, we had 3 people aiming for the fucking head. And, yeah, overall, shit hunt, and I don't like these people, so I'm probably going to go somewhere else. I don't have a particular reason to dislike them, I just don't like that guy's name, the uppy guy with triple X on either side of his name. And then Cephadrome, who upswung me rather discourteously, without so much as an apology. So, I mean, you never know, it could have been API who upswung me, but when was the last time you got upswung by a hunting horn in 4th gen? Probably a long time ago. So yeah, I'm not going to hang around. I'm going to find another room. Like I said, lots of options. Lots of options. Raven Piler, that's a weird name. Raven Piler. Those two words go together like oil and water, quite frankly. Raven Pilot. It's like you put a bunch of random words in a hat and came up with that. And drew two words out of a hat and was like, Raven Pilot. Okay, that's my name, Raven Pilot. Anyway. Maybe the next guy drew Messerschmitt Hippopotamus, I don't know. Oh, fuck off. Xaid and DZ. These guys, you know, my name alongside these two names would make us look like a real unit of emo. Of emo energy. Right? You know, like this business. Like that sort of thing. So, I think we'd go well together. Transmitting data. This is if I can even transmit data. Nobody knows what it's like to not be able to transmit data. Okay. We got through after all. My lamentations were entirely unnecessary. Alright, what are you doing? You've got Mushroom Answer. I can always respect that. I like your set actually, it's very good. X8 has posted a quest. It's Soul Seer G1. Do I want to do it? No. Definitely not. But, like I said, we're like peas in a pod. So I'd better at least do one hunt with them. What would be an effective loadout? Just a good high damage loadout. Actually, you know what I'll do? Forget that. I mean, this will still be good, but... Where is it? I've got an interesting greatsword, I think. Or is it longsword? That's what it is. Darkness Within. I never use it these days. When was the last time you saw me use Darkness Within? Come on. Do I use it with Sharpness Plus? I do. Yeah. I like this longsword. It's cool. 395 damage, purple sharpness. That's really good. So, therefore, I'm going to use it. Remember when I was saying you're making a mistake if you evaluate 400 raw damage green sharpness in the same way that you would evaluate 400 raw damage white or purple sharpness? Well, guess what? This is almost 400 damage purple sharpness. So, this damage is actually repulsively overpowered. The situation is that I don't have much in the way of purple sharpness, but as long as I'm consistently sharpening, I'm going to be dealing a lot of damage. This longsword, which used to be a greatsword back in 1st gen, has a bit of history to it too, so I'm always happy to use a classic weapon design. Back when this longsword was a greatsword, in 1st generation, it actually had poison element, interestingly. It's my poison greatsword of choice in 1st gen. And it's good enough. Whereas my raw damage greatsword is... what, white fatalis? Excuse me, white monobliss. There is no white fatalis in 1st gen, Doomlink. Yeah. I meant white monobliss. I don't have bombs. What are you doing? I was actually expecting him to get hit by the bubble and wake up the monster before he could hit it, which would have been very funny. Alright, let's get in there and deal some damage, shall we? Might not be able to do much of that. I'll try. No, I got a body slam to the body. That definitely happened. Likely unintentionally, I was immediately hit out of my stun. But I am appreciative of it nonetheless. Ow! Could you leave me? Oh, I understand why you're attacking me. It's because I'm bubbled. Here I am complaining about the fight and how it's supposed to work. That was really good. I saw that. Hopefully you all saw that too. That was very cinematic. Oh, there is a little bit of negative affinity on this. Negative 10, that's fine. What do I have on this set? I have no affinity on this set, so it's negative 10 naturally. Which still makes it a really good sword and shield. Sword and shield. Just sword. You can either say sword or long sword. Don't call it sword and shield, please. There is no shield. It would be rather foolish to continue calling it that, so don't. Not that you were, not that you were even considering doing that, Doomlink, but yeah, don't, just in case. I like the clouds, actually. They look pretty cool. They don't look at all convincing, but... You know, one of the first things that was perfected in AAA gaming going back to, I don't know, let's say, the early 2000s, was sky graphics. Having convincing looking sky. So, you know, during the day that would be clouds and sunlight. And during the night that would be the moon and the stars and galaxies and all of that business up in the sky. And this game does not have any of that. I mean, no, even the galaxies up there, no, not good enough. Very low standard. But again, the focus is not on the sky in this case, it's on the monster and the confrontation, so they can cheap out on it. Or skimp out, whatever you want to say. The point is that it's very substandard given the age of the game. I do want to sharpen up very soon, but I'm taking the opportunity while it's here. It's good to get up to red while you can. Oh my god. We're actually at risk of fucking killing this monster. I think a trap has been placed with the expectation that it might be capturable, so I'll keep that in mind. If it's not, it's okay. Hey, there you go. I think I threw a trank and someone else threw a trank, which effectively created a teamwork pre-trank capture. So that was very clean. I liked that. Very good hunt generally. Ironically, I was talking about how effective this weapon is at purple sharpness, but I never ended up sharpening it, I don't think. It only went down to blue, but still. I say only because it looked like it had pretty low sharpness level on all sharpness. Pretty low sharpness on all sharpness levels, but yeah. Overall, very clean hunt. I look like I'm not engaged in combat at all. And quite interestingly, I've got a close-up here of Mizutsune's face. And you can see that blue eye. Wow. This is a funny final shot, now that I look at it. Looks like I'm about to do the kickback animation. And Mizutsune looks very upset. Something like that. Saving. I hope I wasn't covering Mizutsune's face. I might have been, because it was right in that bottom left corner of the screen. We were just fighting Solcia, and Solcia has joined the room. What the hell? Yeah, this person obviously likes Mizutsune. Fuck. I don't know what's going on with this guy, but I think we can guess who his favorite fated 4 monster is. Or maybe he'll say, I don't like Mizutsune at all, but I really like Soulseer. Yeah, he's sort of... It's like, imagine you're dating, or you've married a twin, and you're like, oh yeah, my wife is really attractive, but her twin, nah. I'm not interested in her twin. It's like, oh, take it easy, man. You probably wouldn't even notice if they switched. No, you probably would. One would hope that if they married, or that if you married them, you'd notice. It has just hit 2 hours, and quite frankly, I don't really want to continue in this room, and I couldn't be bothered setting up for another hunt, so that'll do it for me. I do thank you all for watching. And I'm going to move on with other things tonight and enjoy the rest of my night in whatever way I see fit. I'll try to record again soon. I may do some Dark Souls 2 tomorrow. We'll find out. In the meantime, however, I bid you all farewell, and I thank you for watching. Bye bye.